which is always good.
I do have to say, I like the Mad Malekith Angels just because of the name. It's very on brand for my channel.
I see. Oh, and he chose to get an assassin.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
we're gonna...
I do always find that decision to be wonky with Dark Elves, but we will see. Sometimes they really pay off, sometimes they're just...
He's got a tackle. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Does he have any bench to replace that assassin when... Because I'm going to say when it goes down.
Yeah.
Because if I'm facing against something, the assassins, especially if I have low armor value players like the vampires do,
yeah,
I go straight for those assassins to get rid of them.
And it's usually quite easy because they just need to block a blitz once and fail, and then they are one of your players, right? So
yeah,
you can just get the block in. And there's kick being used. That's...
I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm still up to the teams.
So
no, don't worry. No, don't pause because you usually end up behind anyway. So it'd be interesting me being the other way around.
So I do like the kick choice on one of those linemen. I really do.
I do like kick as a skill as well, especially that way you can sort of put the ball wherever you want to, and if you know that you've got something that allows you to get through their line. Ooh, and we've already got an injury. Oh dear.
Yeah. I just want to say the first injury is just ever so slightly stupid, but it happens.
Yeah, and I think that is something that tilts a lot of people. If they get the injury on the first hit, it makes people get immediately upset. And they're like, well, this game, because it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies. You go, oh, great, now this game's going to be terrible, and then you start making bad decisions.
I have to keep coming back to my last game with my orcs against those goblins. That's exactly what happened to me. He injured, the very first block, he injured one of my linemen. I was just thinking like, oh, it's going to be one of those games. I see. It turned out differently, but yeah, it's always...
You actually enjoy us talking about Blood Bowl immensely more than you did attempting to play it. Yeah, I'm sorry that you weren't, and thank you for that. I'm sorry that you couldn't get into it. Katsu is actually one of my friends in real life.
I see.
And he got Blood Bowl to play with us, and he did not enjoy it. But he says he enjoys listening to people. He used to be a rugby fan, so he's enjoying like the casting.
Yeah.
And Saimar says they've had a hard time removing pieces in all games that they've played. And their previous match against the goblins, he ended up removing himself. Or vampires do that.
Yeah, it's true. And it's also true that thralls tend to get removed left and right. That's not only because of the vampires itself, but because they are 87 pieces that we don't have skills to begin with.
Okay, he does. I do not foul with vampires. I just see it as too dangerous because even though thralls do get removed, you want to try and stop it from happening.
Yeah.
As much as you can. So I try to stay out of danger almost in an elf-like way. Just attempt to stay out of... I mean, that piece does have a dirty player, so I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people I see in play vampire teams play them almost as if you'd play something like goblins or something like that, where they'll treat the thralls like foul pieces and just completely useless pieces that can get tossed aside. And they can be useless pieces, but they are also necessary for your good players to function.
And this is why I said that I do like someone picking vampires, but we rarely see those teams in tournaments because you can look at that team and you see that he has 3 vampires. So he only has like 3 really good players on his lineup, and he needs 4 rerolls to start with because they tend to go Ori in situations you don't want them. And he just, in parentheses, he just is able to put 2 dodges and 1 block on those key players.
Yep.
Right, and it's just so difficult to skill vampires in this format because you don't want to put like 2 or 3 skills on the player that is bound to go
You're bound to get
haywire
removed.
at some point.
Or yeah, just disappear. And also, he does make a good point. He does say that they don't have any bench, and they don't have any apothecary either. I forgot to do that. I checked that at the start of every game. So we have 2 rerolls with the Angels. I think they may have had 3. I didn't check at the very beginning, so I don't know. And the Vampires have 4 with an apothecary. And they also won the fan roll, which we've seen time and time again, has actually just given the edge to whoever got it.
Yeah.
Especially when you get that +2. When you get that +2, things can go very fantastically for you. I've seen an entire team, the entire opponent's team, stunned before because of the +2 on the fame roll.
Yeah, I have to say what I do like about the way the Rxone, his name is. I don't want to say the Dark Elf coach. So I do like that Rxone plays super safely against vampires here, because that hypnotic gaze can easily remove tackle zones, and then you can just get easy blitzes on the ball.
I love hypnotic, the hypnotic stare.
Yeah, it's awesome. That skill is just awesome, and he does a very good job on not letting Saima capitalize on that skill.
And Trasukal says it was against a Mighty Blow player, which is something you want removed as quick as possible. Which I agree with. Yeah. I just I worry about this team is spec'd for having a fouler, which is cool. I'm not saying bad against that. I'm saying that a lot of people don't have dirty player on thralls, and they'll just foul whatever's on the ground because they're treating their thralls like they would goblins, and I have a problem with that. Not like, if that's the way you want to play, that's the way you want to play. But I don't usually see those teams doing well. I found that if you treat every single player like it's important on a vampire team, they do a lot better.
Yeah, it's true. And by the way, Saima, what you're saying, that you can only take 1 skill per player, I think even if you would have been able to take 2 skills, would you have put a second skill even on 1 vampire?
Wait, no, you can take more than 1 skill on each player. It's just dangerous to do. In the rules, I recall that you could. There is a limit on how many skills you can have overall, but you can put more than 1 skill on a player. It just means that that's a really, really valuable player that other people might want to take out.
Yeah. And there's Bloodlust.
Yeah. And I would have definitely had a vampire with Blodge. Another interesting team that I've seen, and I've played before, that did okay. I wouldn't mind retrying it. Ooh, double Bloodlust.
To be honest, I just got virgined on the Bloodlust because I've never seen that happen in Blood Bowl 2 before. So that was the first for me. That was quite a nice animation, actually. I really like that.
Yeah. They actually put in a cutscene for
eating really cool.
Yeah. I like them. But one of the teams that I played that I really liked was it's a full thrall team with 1 vampire, and the 1 vampire you focus on making as powerful as possible.
Yeah.
And it works, because since you've got all those thralls on the field, that vampire can effectively go anywhere where you need it to go.
So Isamax says that tier 1 at least was restricted to 1 skill per player, and Saima says that lower tier teams were not allowed to stack, so I would have to look it up. I don't know it from the top of my head.
No, he's asking were the lower tier teams were allowed to stack. I believe so, and I think I recall that it was like in the rules it was tier 1 teams cannot have more than 1 skill per player, but it wasn't specifically said that other tier teams can't. Like, it didn't say they could, but it didn't say they couldn't. I'll have to ask Saramol about it, because I would like to know from him.
Well, I could look it up quickly, because
it would be interesting if you could. Because I think vampires are tier 2, aren't they?
Vampires should be tier 2, yeah.
And we've got another Bloodlust fail. It's always frustrating, because it's like you can go entire games without a single Bloodlust, and then sometimes you get a Bloodlust with every player every turn.
And by the way, could somebody educate me on the question, is there an animation for a troll eating a goblin that he wants to throw? Because I haven't seen that.
And neither have I. I've never seen that happen either.
So yeah, vampires are tier 2. And let's have a look at the skills. So tier 2 gets 7 skills maximum, 3 doubles maximum. Each coach is required to build a team of at least 11 players and purchase skills. You may only put 1 additional skill on any player. So there's not a tier restriction.
Right,
so
cool.
both are like that.
No, you can link it all you want, Si. I mean, I say... At the moment, I'm in control of the channel, and I basically run it like mine, and anyone can post whatever they want until someone ruins it, and then no one can post anything. And no one's caused any problems yet. Yep. Damn. Because that could have caused some very cool and very interesting teams. I wonder if anyone would have made their team differently had they known that.
Yeah.
Like had you had the ability to put multiple skills on any one player.
That's by the way, it's a very ballsy choice by Rxone to be standing on the sideline like that.
I mean, maybe that's why he's doing it. Maybe he's trying to bait the vampires into.
Could be, yeah.
Also, no stat ups. Yeah, I remember that one.
So yeah, sadly you didn't get push here, Saimaya. So that would have been 1 serve there. If that block was a push. You're
so
not.
he wanted to surf. He wanted to attempt a sack on the ball carrier, but he also wanted to surf the mighty blow.
And I think I would have made the same choice there. The serve was just too good not to pass up on, I think.
Oh, we have a going for it fail on the vampire. And that's the reroll done. Alright, hypnotic gaze success. And then also hit him? Oh, okay, so the gaze stays on even if it's...
Yeah.
I was like making doubly sure. Removal would have been huge.
Absolutely true. So Trusted Cully posted the YouTube link. I will have a look at that. Oh, yeah, that's a troll eating goblin, I think.
Oh, cool. I'm going to save that link for myself later. So I can have a look at that, because I've never seen it. And I want
to. I'm just going to say there is an animation.
There is an animation?
Yeah, there's an animation.
Oh, good.
It's a small one, but it's a hilarious one.
All right.
Thank you very much.
See, you're doing us some very, very good. I need to take my pills. I just realized that's why my brain is slowly ticking down like a computer being underclocked. It slowly gets slower and slower until all I can do is drool.
So,
but thank you, Trusselkel.
Yeah, absolutely. So, am I right, or has the stab guy not done anything this game up to now, or did he attempt at least 1 stab?
He has attempted 1 stab, and I do not believe it did anything.
I don't think that's really worth the skill there.
Oh no, maybe the stab guy knocked out someone. I know he stabbed. I remember it happening, but I don't remember the result. Okay, I just got a message. I got a message from the Sage an hour ago saying that he'd be about an hour, so he should be around here soon.
Oh, right.
Because he said he's about to start getting the kids put to bed.
Yeah, that's something that I will have to do. Without getting time. So I might just have to tune out shortly after the Sage.
That's fine. Don't worry. It's all good. I understand. And there's the touchdown by the Witch Elf.
Yep.
Alright, and the Thrall does not get back up. Not that that's too necessary, it's an unleveled Thrall.
Yeah, he still has one bench left.
So it's actually in a pretty decent position in that way. Unless, of course, on this last turn, his Vampire Bloodlusts, bites, and then badly injures one of those Thralls.
I mean, he's kind of in a bad situation as he does only have one turn to equalize now, and I think that's.
He's not going to be able to equalize, but
no.
The thing is it was the Dark Elves. It was their half, so
yeah,
it's not like you can try and stop your opponent from getting that touchdown. But it's almost expected that your opponent will get that one touchdown, and then, like, you got to try and score extra on your half, or try and score on their half.
Oh. But do you see what I see? He's actually setting up for something interesting here, I guess.
I get an extra reroll. Not that it helps too much, but I mean, vampires, thanks to that agility 4, are decent passers.
Yeah.
And dodges and everything, really. They're good at.
I mean, the stat line of a vampire is just awesome, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they could do with one more movement, but aside from that, they're just awesome.
Yeah. That's why I like him. He set up for a quick snap.
Yeah, I guess as much, or for maybe turning back the clock here. I think he would have had a decent chance to score if the clock was turned back.
He's going to use his dirty player to take out.
Yeah.
Which I get completely.
Yeah, I think it's the sensible thing to do here. I mean, it's just alignment, but removing that piece would be really good for him. Seeing as the Dark Elf doesn't have bench, right?
Oh, he didn't go for the foul. Personally, I think he should have, but if he's got that dirty player piece, might as well use it.
Yeah.
Especially since that's 6. So the rolls came out as if he'd fouled, that 6 would have been in it. With everyone else, that already means with those assists he broke the armor.
Yeah, I think I would have attempted that foul as well, even if only for alignment. But
so let's have a look at these rolls. So we've got the Wake Up from KO, which is a 6, and a 1. With the 6 and the 1, it still would have broken the armor because of the assists, and a 4 and a 1, so it would have just been a stun. So he is right. He was, I mean, not that he could have known at the time, but that still ended up being the best decision because it would have just been a stun.
Yeah.
And there that for. I don't think it would have been a double though. So.
Yeah, and I thought that you were setting up, pretty much setting up for something like this, because I think with a full team, it's possible with MA6 overall to actually one-turn touchdown. I have to look that up. I keep forgetting because one-turn touchdowns never work for me, but yeah, it's really true. Even with teams that are capable to do that, like my Skaven, and I had really good Skaven players, like Agility 5 and stuff, I never pulled off a one-turn touchdown because at some point, some roll just did not work out.
Oh, yeah, well, it needs to be. You need to get a perfect set of rolls. Manage it. There's a very specific set of rolls. Oh, shit.
So movement 6 usually needs frenzy. No, Chaos can do it with 11 players. And without, yeah, okay, there is a possibility to do it with 11 players. No frenzy, no quick snap needed. But it's, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks with push result to do that. So not impossible, just very unlikely.
I have no idea how to do you can, but without sidestep or frenzy and 3 loose players on the line of scrimmage, it's really bad with movement allowance. Movement value 6, you don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it in general. I need to look it up.
I could just link it, right? Because so let's see if I can link it. There it is. So that's catered to the Chaos team, but you can feasibly do it with any other team that has a full setup and lucky rolls.
Alright, I'll have a look at that later.
Yeah. And by the way, if you go click on back to one turn guide above that thing, you just get to all the 1-turn touchdown possibilities.
Oh, nice.
With all the different teams, which is very helpful if you're having this up while you play and you want to attempt a 1-turn touchdown.
I see. That's the thing. People have sent me guides before. I actually see it as cheap to use them while I'm in a game. Like, I'll look at them after a game or before a game.
Yeah.
But while I'm in game, I like to work with nothing but my own skills, like what I've got.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if chat tries to help and stuff and talks to me, but I prefer to just do it off of my own strategy to see if I can manage it.
I do get that sentiment, but to be honest, I'm just not good at remembering stuff like that.
And neither am I. That's why I never do it. That's why I never 1-turn touchdown or do the proper chevroning and stuff, because I constantly forget.
That's true. And yeah, Saima is right. They were not clumped up like that. And clever coaches will never clump up their players like that against a full team. Well, seeing how the Dark Elf defense here really lends me to think that the Vampire will have, so Saima will have a hard time scoring here, because he gets all those row stacked defense lines.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's what I really dislike about Vampire teams. They lack the speed, right? They are just an average move team. They lack the speed to really.
And there we go.
That's an injury. That's good for the Dark Elf player, and even worse. Yeah, and even worse for Saima here, because that means the defense is even tighter.
And one of those Dark Elves is stunned.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, he could use this as an opportunity to take out those Witch Elves. Take out one of the Witch Elves, just get an assist on it, go for the hit, blitz hit on the Witch Elf to get rid of them, maybe.
It's true, but then one of those has wrestling, the other has blocked, so it's just...
It is hard, it would be hard.
It's hard.
And the one that has block is also, like, you wouldn't be able to get an assist on it.
Yeah.
And even if you do get an assist, you're going to get surfed. It should be able to set up a pretty decent cage here, though.
Yeah, I think biding his time here and seeing if the Dark Elf player makes him is a good choice.
Setting up to pass it to that particular vampire.
Yeah.
The Angels only have 2 more rerolls, and the Vampires still have 4. The Vampires, if they don't reroll next turn, they're able to use a reroll every single turn easy.
Yeah.
While the Angels need to worry about reroll management. Especially on these teams where you make more rolls than average without realizing it.
True. Give me a quick second, I have to mute myself.
That's fine, go for it. Going for a blitz into the vampire. Does not pay off because of... Oh no, he's got the tackle. Oh, vampire. Sophisticated taste is fine, but that's going to make it harder to do that pass. Though he could pass to the vampire with block on the side if he's willing to blitz that witch elf. I wouldn't suggest it personally, but it's like it's all about risks. If you're willing to take those crazy risks. Oh, and then yeah, you've got the hypnotic gaze. Alright, yeah, blitzing the witch elf, like I said. Bam! And a knockout on the witch elf. Look at that. And thanks to that hypnotic gaze, he can get someone through. Though, do you want to be doing this with a thrall? Oh, he's going to go for a cage. Alright, I understand that. Making plays, making plays.
So, I'm back.
Welcome back. So he knocked out a witch elf. Did a hypnotic gaze to get rid of the tackle zone, and now he's caging up. Oh, bloodlust failure. That is not a good time for it. So he can just eat one of those thralls. I would suggest... Oh, no, he's going straight for the touchdown. He's going to have to eat one of the thralls, however. I found that out the hard way. That if you try a touchdown with a vampire after their bloodlust, I was like, I'll just make the touchdown and it won't matter. Nope. Nope. Wait, what? Did he just use his apothecary? He used his apothecary.
That's something that they had to fix because in the past, I don't know if it was Blood Bowl 1 or this game, it was possible to actually make that touchdown and not have to bite. That was exploited by many players. I think it's a good thing that they fixed this.
Okay. Alright, he's still down most of his players. Is he still... he doesn't have a full team, does he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did not use the... yes, he did.
Yeah, he's got a full team.
Yeah.
Rxone does not. Down one player. He's down his witch elf. Apothecary to keep up numbers.
Yeah.
Yep, I was confused at first.
I mean, it's only like 5 turns left. Yeah, the apothecary is
decent choice.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, personally, I probably wouldn't have done it, and that's probably a bad choice on my part, because I would have gone, oh, there's a chance that he'll wake up.
Yeah.
Both teams get an extra reroll. That is not good for the vampires. As those elves having low rerolls is something that you would have wanted.
Absolutely. But that kick was quite interesting.
Because also that extra reroll is completely useless to vampires as well.
Yep.
And we've got a knockout. I love the names of his players though. Papillon, Saimar's players have fantastic names.
Yeah.
You enjoy them. And that reroll helped. He was more like, he's happier with using it because he didn't expect to have it.
And he scores an injury.
So that's 2 removals on just one turn. Two hits have been made, and both of those hits have ended in removals. He's passed it to his assassin, all things.
That's a very interesting choice, I have to... I'm not too sure where he's getting at that.
I think it's just because that was the only... it was a player that is protected because of being behind the line.
Okay, he didn't want to cage. I have to remember that vampires are easily able to break into cages.
Yeah, because they can use their hypnotic gaze.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people forget that while versing vampires, and then failure on the gaze. That was a very bold maneuver, going after the blodge with the kick thrall. Worked out, and into a stun as well, so shows that sometimes risks pay off.
Yeah, and I think that these situations you have to, like, Saimar is playing to win. He's not playing for safety and a draw. Absolutely playing to win. I really like that.
Yeah, I respect that as well, because we've seen so far 2 out of the...
Yeah.
This is the 4th game, I think, isn't it? Yeah, 2 out of the 4 games that we've watched have gone safe and just been like, I'll take a tie, when they could have very easily gone for the win. Like, it's one of those, they almost had the win in the bag, but they chose to be as safe as possible and just go for a tie instead.
Oh, and that is a huge blitz.
Yep, that's fantastic blitz for vampires. But those elves, if there's anything they can do, it's dodge out and grab balls.
Sure.
Surprised he didn't blitz with that tackle player against the vampire, because that vampire has dodge. Oh, he wants to do it with his mighty blow, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Looks to be the case. He's getting as many assists as he can, and he's going to go after the dodge vampire with the mighty blow. However, he should have done it with the tackle, like, yep. But
I mean, the Dark Elf is an advantage here, right?
Yeah.
Because he's on... He can put the pressure on.
Failed dodge, but that reroll. Ooh.
Yeah,
I mean,
now it pays off that he got an X reroll, right?
It does. It definitely does.
I mean, for that...
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, he'd have 0 rerolls, or he would have had to let it slide.
And if he would have let slide the first reroll, might not position he is right now.
Yeah, it's one of those snowball effects. That extra reroll, which was useless to the vampires, has given the elves new life and the possibility of getting through.
Yeah.
And this is where some tilt plays should probably... Yep. Ooh, double skulls. And he's got the wrestle. So the ball's out. So this is where some tilt plays might start coming along. Not tilt out of anger or tilt out of frustration, but tilt plays that come up because you're getting desperate. You're desperate. Oh, sorry, not tilt then. Desperation plays. Like the clock is ticking down. We're down to the final few turns, doing 1-die blocks.
And both players need to score, right? If they want to win, they need to score.
Yeah.
There's no way to play it safe. There's no way to play the clock here because the clock is ticking.
Ah, we have the Sage. Welcome, Sage. How are you doing on this fine day?
Hiya. Thank you. I'm doing all right. I just managed to bring my kids to bed.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They sleeping soundly, I hope.
They're getting there. They're trained enough to do the rest on their own.
Ah, fair enough. How old are they?
David's 7 and Sophia's 5.
Oh, congrats.
Absolutely. I mean, my kids are like 8 and 10, and they are not that well trained.
Well, this is after me brushing their teeth, bringing them to bed. 3 bedtime stories.
Oh, 3.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've got a dodge out by the Dark Elf, by the Witch Elf here. Yes, it looks like it definitely looks like Rxone has the touchdown in the bag.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, he can dodge.
Oh, he just did so.
That vampire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And he's used his hypnotic gaze. So runs through with the non-dodge vampire, chooses the blitz. He's going to have to do going for it. No, he doesn't, and he gets the hit on the ball carrier. Ball carrier is down. No armor break. Is he going to go? Yep, he went for the going for it. With the fail, is it going to be double reds? No, it isn't. We've got it both down here. Both go down. And the Dark Elf assassin is stunned. Though that Witch Elf, I see the Witch Elf going straight for that ball. Frenzy hitting that block, vampire out, and then using the blitzer to pick up the ball and run it into the touchdown, into the end zone. Sports talk.
Sportsing, indeed.
Yes, sports ball. Yep, success on the ball pickup, and do we have a tripwire? No, 6 on the going for it. Touchdown, making it 2-1. The only hope...
Nigh impossible to here.
Sorry, go on.
Nigh impossible. No, I think it's not possible to come back from this.
No, he would need a one-turn touchdown. He doesn't have a full 11 players on the field. Does not have a frenzy.
Nope.
Only at movement allowance 6. It is without a kickoff event in his favor. It is... Saimar, who is the person who was in it, who was Papillon, says, rough game, it was very fun though. It looked like it was a good game.
And it didn't really come down to player mistakes. It really came down to a bit of unlucky rolls here, I guess. I think both really played this well.
Yeah, it was a very good game to watch. And I like to see vampires doing well.
Yeah.
I'd comment, but I have no idea.
Yeah, we are watching the game between Papillon and Rxone.
All right, excellent.
But we're on to the final turn.
Turn 16, so yeah. That's over. Yeah, and that's not the kickoff result he needed.
Oh. I mean, he's still going to, as we already know from what he's said, he's still going to attempt to go for the one turn. He's gotten a few pushes so far, but that push did not happen the way he needed it to. He's getting those pushes. He's gotten a push every time, though he does not have the reroll anymore. He had to use it before. Why he didn't choose to push the vampire forward, I don't know.
Because he needs more blocks from behind to be able to capitalize on movement here.
He almost got there. He was 2 away.
Yeah.
1 away. He was 1 square away. If he'd been able to keep it up for 1... And as a last hurrah, he injures friend Bob. Injures that poor elf lineman.
That's
and
nice.
The vampire bloodlust's off the scene. So even if he did get that close, even if he got all that way, a vampire would have just walked off. Which is the big danger of vampires. So well played, Saimar. Well played, Rxone. That was a very good game.